Hey, what's going on, everyone? Happy Memorial Day. I trust that today is well and that you're doing great in the eyesight of God. I want to welcome you to this holiday weekend devotional time. That's right. This is the day the Lord has made, and we've made up our mind to do one thing, and that is rejoice and be glad in it. I'm excited that you're here, and I know that you have a festive meal planned for you and your family as you are sheltering still in place. Weather is great, but be wise. Be wise. And today I want to share a little insight on this week's DEVO. It's going to be challenging. Chose it with prayer in mind. I chose it because I want you to come out of this better. And coming out of this better means that it's going to take a concerted effort among all of us to adhere to the Word of God. Yesterday's message was pretty phenomenal. And on yesterday, I talked about, are you tuned in to the right station? Really, it should have been all about being on the right frequency in this series, Discovering God's Voice. And in that series, I had the opportunity to talk about being in tune on the right frequency. How even now the enemy broadcasts on a certain frequency, God's broadcasting on a certain frequency. And we have to have the antennas of our heart constantly calibrating in order to hear from God. It's easy to hear from the enemy. We know this. And hearing from God requires work. It requires an effort. It requires a thorough examination. Y'all remember that? Examining ourselves. Examining our hearts internally. And then examining our friendships. That's what this week's devotional is all about. Because in life, if you have 5 good friends at this stage in your life, you're doing quite well. And friends don't come by easy. And I shared on yesterday how friends will determine the direction and the quality of your life. And I'm thankful to God that He's placed people in my life who I consider friends. And in this week's devotional, you're going to seriously evaluate the people that you call friends, the people that are in your life. And what you're going to discover is that those that you may have thought or those that you may have had this concern is going to be revealed and realized. Question is, what are you going to do? So as you walk through this week's devotional, the link to the devotional is in the description. I want you to pray before you walk through it, because it's going to challenge everything that you know about friendship. It's going to call into question friendships. It's going to help you see who falls in the category of a friend versus an associate. So here comes this thorough examination based on 1 Corinthians 15, verse 33, talks about how good company or bad company corrupts. So you'll be able to put them in categories. Who's a friend? Who's an associate? And in that way, your heart will be clear. Your mind will be clear after this thorough examination of friends and associates. So here's what I'd like for you to do as I conclude. I'd like for you to do a couple of favors. Number one, if you got here and you're watching the replay, go ahead and drop in that hashtag replay. Secondly, read the plan with a friend. Read the plan. Matter of fact, with somebody you might call a questionable friend, so they could see in a roundabout way where that friendship stands. Or read the plan with your group. I just don't want you to do it alone all by yourselves. So could you do that? Could you do that? And if you do that, I promise you that we are better together. I promise you that we grow together. Read the plan with a friend. And the plan that I'm speaking of is how to have healthy friendships. It's in the description, so get it, grab it, read it, and apply it, and I guarantee you, you'll know exactly where you stand. And finally, if you ever have any questions regarding anything about this week's midweek Devo or any questions in general, please feel free to type the capital Q followed by your question. Then I'll jump in, answer it, and if I can't get an answer, then I'll find an answer. But I just do not want your question to go unanswered. Get it? Got it? Good. I want you to have a safe Memorial Day. Eat all the good food that you can. Be generous in all that you have. And let us continue to be the church. While we're scattered, we still gather online, but let's continue to be the church. Be great, all for the glory of God. And in the meantime, I would like for you to join us this Wednesday for our final installment on AKA Names, how God changes the name. We looked at Abraham and Sarah, Jacob, last week, Simon Peter, and this week it's you. Why God desires to change your name. We'll stream it on YouTube, also on Facebook at 7 p.m. this Wednesday. And I guarantee you'll be blessed. Thank you for giving me a slice of your Memorial Day. Thank you for heeding this week's challenge to read this devotional. And I pray that your week will be blessed, because when you start right, then you'll end right. Remember, hearing God's voice requires examining our thoughts, examining our hearts, examining ourselves, and examining our friends and associates. So you have work to do, and I'm glad to help you in that work. I'll see you all this Wednesday at the gathering. Take care and have an amazing week. Be well.